time once again to see Eleanor and spend some live heart cells that you get from taking out your Technosite Coda, and pick up the Coda Hirudo. I cannot remember the standard ones, which is weird. 175 is its base damage, and then the bonus that is added to these things is then added to it, and even with only 26.8%, it has gone up. Now remember, that bonus you can merge it with another weapon, or be lucky enough to get it with a higher percentage on it. The unique trait, however, has a different symbol to it. Invigorated. Crit hits have 5% lifesteal, and increased maximum health by 5% for 15 seconds stacks up to 25% max health with lifesteal while running around hitting people with this. And it comes with a V polarity. Oh, they haven't shoved one of these in there. To be fair, it's not like there's not a lot of useful mods on this polarity, the D polarity, for melee weapons. It gets frustrating when they release 13 new weapons and almost all of them have a D polarity. Aura-wise, yep, it's basically Brutal Tide. Oh, dare I say it, that's brutal. And how many people went to the comment section and turned around and went, you mean the stance mod, not the aura mod? Either way, that is kind of brutal, but come on. The Hirudo was released over 8 years ago. We've been waiting for a better variation of it ever since. I believe I called that video Hirudo the Leech, because lifesteal on crit hits, you definitely want to build this thing more towards the crit side. Throw some status on there as well, because, you know, why not? And this thing actually ends up being a good weapon, but it suffers the same problem as all the other Coda weapons do. You can try and sugarcoat it as much as you want. 5 format is too much, because there's just no need for 5 format on this. You can basically build this however you want to and have many points left over, to the point where you can fit the sacrificial mods in here easily without using an Umbra format and just format all the other slots, which is basically what I did, because Prime Fury, Prime Reach, Amalgam Organ Shatter with Sacrificial Steel, and then Sacrificial Pressure for more damage, and then just threw 3 dual stat elemental mods in there for... Depends. It varies upon which faction I'm going up against as to which 3 are actually in there, but damn. I forgot just how good the Hirudo actually was, to a point that I was doing survival missions and forgetting to leave, because the enemies come at you, or you run towards the enemies, and I wouldn't see you become unkillable, but that whole lifesteal on crit hit on a weapon that has 127.5% crit chance with just Sacrificial Steel and Sacrificial Pressure in there. Still has 26 points out of the 90 available on this thing, by the way. Yeah. And there's no Umbra form I used. But the fact that you can just wail on enemies, they can be shooting you, and as long as you can keep, hence Prime Fury, a high attack speed up, you are life-stealing them while dealing damage, which takes them down a little bit quicker than any of the other melee weapons. This was one of those videos I wanted to keep until I'd done the rest of them, but as you can probably gather now by the fact that it's August, and this thing came out, what, March? April? Yeah, I got sucked into the update, and I just, I got the weapons, leveled the weapons, forming the requirements to get another one, got another one, then went back to forming it and was just basically knocking these things out in the space of about 2.5, 3 weeks. Had all of these weapons and they were all 5 format and put away, because I then had to level up a different one, and it just means that it is very easy to forget about these things for 5 months. Which is a damn shame, because I've had this sitting on my desktop since then, and I opened it and remembered, oh yeah, the Hirudo is actually an amazing melee weapon. Not only is it a sparring weapon, which, in my opinion, is one of the most fun weapons. It's not the most damaging, it's got to be one of the most fun, because you get to run up and punch and kick your enemies rather than swinging weaponry at them. They do refer to this as Space Ninja game. So, yeah. It always made sense for them to add weapons like this at some point anyway. But I'm trying to think of a downside to these, and apart from there is melee weapons that have better range and do a little bit better damage, but when you add into the fact that this does lifesteal and damage at the same time, I mean, 127, I believe I said it was, 0.5% crit chance with a 5.7 times multiplier, so even if we just go a 5 times multiplier, and it's doing 2,500 damage every time you hit an enemy with it, yeah, that's
Got a minute to get a hell scrubber working.
Over 10,000, maybe even 11, 12,000 damage. Every single, I've just now realised that's more like 12,500 damage every time you hit an enemy with it. Then it lifesteals on top of that. So these things are, if you are going for any of the melee weapons, I would love to turn around and say the Coda Hirudo is Coda. Did I actually say that? The Coda Hirudo is definitely one of the best of all of the weapons that came from the Coda system, the adversary system, because it's got to be a good, solid third place out of 13. Maybe even second, it depends what you, if you prefer melee to primary or to melee to secondary or just melee only. This thing, these things, oh, I regret ever taking them off. And if it wasn't for the fact that I'm busy leveling something else at the minute, would be throwing them back on. I will do, once they are done. But I'm waiting for the Double Affinity weekend, because that's running every weekend throughout August, so level that back up. Not forming it again, just level it up. Go back to using these, because the attack speed, the lifesteal, it all works so well together that these things are life-saving melee weapons. Which is kind of the purpose of melee. Get in close, lifesteal. But with that, we've gone on way too long, so we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.